It's 5 a.m. where I am. And of course, I'm listening to all the political punditry about the election yesterday. And it's not settled yet, but one thing we could agree on: Democrats overperformed in this midterm. And we got to ask why. So let me give you the number one factor for me. But first, let me discuss a couple of others that we thought would carry more weight. One was the Trump factor, and it was a negative, okay? We have to admit that. During the Republican primaries, it was a very positive thing for a lot of candidates, but in the general, he was more of a loser than a winner. A good example is Carrie Lake, who I thought was the best candidate in the entire nation. She was Trump's choice, and a Trump supporter, Republican from Arizona running for governor. Her opponent, Katie Hobbs, not a good candidate, even refused to debate. Katie Hobbs, I was overwhelmed. I went to her website, how clearly she spelled out what she would do, the solutions she would provide for the key issues. Plus, she just exuded leadership, incredible presentation, great candidate. And so right now, she's a couple of points behind. She may still pull it out, but regardless, Trump cost her a lot. Another factor for me, the biggest one, that didn't matter, it seemed like. That's where the issues, especially crime, the border crisis, and inflation's all we've been talking about. And I think Republicans did the right thing, hiding in their basements and just pointing at Biden. Didn't matter. That wasn't the biggest factor. The big factor was this. Ready? The fear factor. Democrats did a better job at making Americans scared to death than Republicans did, okay? Now, Republicans, their fear message was just this: if you vote Democrat, then you're voting for socialism. Well, guess what, Republicans? Half of America already favors socialism, and the other half is fine with bigger and more powerful government. So it did not resonate. Democrats, on the other hand, they said, listen, if you vote for Republicans, you're voting for, the death of your children and democracy being overturned. Now, we all know that was hyperbolic language, but it worked in instilling fear. And the big surprise to me is that fear is ever a factor. But I learned during COVID, that's where it became obvious. Americans on the whole were willing to run to the open, benevolent arms of a loving federal bureaucracy for safety and comfort. I was saddened by that. I mean, this country was founded on individualism, and it's specifically highlighted by courage. We wouldn't be who we are today without those early people. So that's a disappointment to me, but that's just a fact. And Republicans, you better learn this, because Democrats are now going to double down on this before the next election. So Republicans, you better learn how to deal with this, how to slam this down, how to inform and educate voters on what the truth is about what Republicans believe. But the fear factor, I believe, that was it.